Electric vehicles, or EV. There's a revolution happening in the world of EVs, but they're actually not new at all. Here's the story from back in the 1800s. That's right. It's hard to say who invented the electric car. It was more of a lead-on from breakthroughs that gave us the first electric vehicle. In the early 1800s, inventors from Hungary, Netherlands, the US started messing around with the concept of battery-powered vehicles and came up with the first small-scale electric car. So there was this British inventor called Robert Anderson who developed the first crude electric carriage around the same time. But since batteries weren't rechargeable, it wasn't until about 100 years later that French and British inventors invented the first practical electric cars. In the US, the first successful electric car made its debut in 1890. It was basically a six-seater wagon made by this chemist called William Morrison, and it could reach a top speed of 14 miles per hour. Vroom, vroom. But at the turn of the 20th century, the primary mode of transportation was still horses. Then, as people got more money, they looked at purchasing the newly invented motor vehicle, which was available in steam, gasoline, and electric. As electric vehicles came into the market, so did a new type of vehicle, the gasoline vehicle. This was because of improvements to the internal combustion engine, which is ICE, which is basically every car today, which happened in the 1800s. And oh, was this revolutionary, but it required a lot of effort. For one, you had to crank it to start. Gear changing was a headache. They were also noisy and carbon emission. EVs were simpler, even then. So then many innovators took note of the EV's high demand and they were exploring ways to make it better. So there's a guy called Ferdinand Porsche, who is the founder of Porsche, who developed the electric car called P1 in 1898. 1898. Around the same time, he also created the world's first hybrid car, which is electric and gas. However, the problem was in the supply, and it was Henry Ford's Model T that changed everything. It was introduced in 1908, and because it was mass-produced, it made gasoline cars available to everyone. By 1912, a gasoline car cost about $650, and the electric car was more than double that. That same year, a guy called Charles Kettering introduced the electric starter, which removed the need for cranking your car to start it. By the 1920s, the US had a better system of roads connecting cities, and people wanted to get out and explore more. And then with the oil boom, fueling stations became readily available across countries, and it just made more sense. And at that time, there were very few people outside of the cities who actually had electricity. So in the end, by 1935, electric vehicles had all but disappeared. Fast forward to the 1970s and gas prices go up. Uh-oh. Fast forward again to the 1990s, and because of new laws related to climate, automakers began researching modifying their popular models into electric models. A lot of people say that the first turning point was the Toyota Prius, which was invented in Japan in 1997. The Prius became the world's first massively produced hybrid car. And it was an instant hit, especially with celebrities, the OG influencers. Then another event that helped raise awareness was in 2006, where a small startup out of Silicon Valley called Tesla said that they were going to make luxury and sport all-electric cars, and that these cars would be able to go more than 200 miles on a single charge. In 2010, Tesla received a $465 million loan from the Department of Energy. Boom. And Tesla's announcement and success made other automakers delve into the world of electric. And in the late 2010, the Chevy Bolt and the Nissan Leaf. So that started the issues that we have today. Let's talk about it. Here's some of the main reasons we still feel that we don't want to make the switch to electricity. Range anxiety. It's a thing, but it's really not. It's that feeling where you feel like you're going to run out of charge when you're in the middle of nowhere. But when was the last time you ran out of petrol? Or do you always drive with a full tank? An EV is no different. You can charge an EV overnight and have a full tank waiting for you the next morning. Or you can use fast charging points that are popping up at supermarkets, gyms, malls, cinemas, all over the place. And it's only going to keep getting more. Second one is, they say it takes too long to charge. But actually, you save time. Think about it. It might take longer for an electric vehicle to charge than it takes for you to stand at a pump and fill gas. But you're standing at the pump. With an EV, you just plug it in and walk away. Go have dinner, play with the cat, chill with your family, get work done, sleep, whatever you want to do. And when you've got a charging port installed at home, it's like having your own petrol station at home. Number 3, it's too expensive, but you actually save money. Yes, it's true that buying an EV is more than the cost of a regular car, but not the cost of owning an EV. Electricity is much cheaper than gas. Think of all the parts that make up a regular car. The engine, radiator, piston, spark plugs, to name a few. Electric cars, on the other hand, are much simpler. A simple example, there's no oil, so no oil changes. And an important thing is zero emissions. This is not something that most of us think about on a daily basis because it's life. But it's something that we all should be thinking of. Being sustainable is more expensive right now, but it's only going to get more and more economical as more and more people do it. And it is the way of the future. The particles that come out of a car's exhaust are bad for the environment, they're bad for your health, just overall bad. And electric vehicles have zero, none. So now we're back to the revolution, which is happening right now. There are EVs being produced at scale all over the world. For example, companies like VinFast from Vietnam launching their new range of EVs this year, being available to everyone. So if you are in a position to make switch from regular cars to EVs, and you should, most of the problems that you might anticipate having with it come from a place of anxiety. And that's just because it feels like it's brand new. But it's really not. So, what do you think? Let us know in the comments. And thanks for watching.